Good morning. Welcome to the show. I about called myself Brittany. I don't know why I about said Brittany here, which you are here on my right. Glad you're here with us. We're
ladies first.
Ladies first. That's what this is. It's ladies first. It's Monday. Happy Monday to you. I hope you're having a fantastic, momentous, motivated. What else could I say? What's a good M word for memorable? Well, they haven't lived it yet.
Monumental.
But go make sure you do remember today, right? I hope you're having a great day. It's the morning show. We're live right now on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, all over the place. We're also live. Sorry, just want to refresh the page real quick. We're also live on TikTok on my left. Good morning, TikTok. Glad you are here and with us. And we've got the Zoom room open for whomever. I'm all over the place. Yeah, I don't know. I'm like all over the place today. I don't know what's up.
How many cups?
First cup right here.
Maybe that's what it is.
That might be what it is. I did go for a run. That should have helped me, you would think. But maybe it didn't. Anyways.
It's a fur run.
It's a Monday in the sense of it's a great opportunity to start the week out. Great. We had a great weekend. Matter of fact, we got to do something we haven't done in forever. Why are you smiling at me?
I'm sure. I'm like, where are you going to start?
Saturday.
I know. Where?
So.
Because we had multiple things.
Yeah. So, Mama and Daddy Pata, my parents, watched our kids for us while we went and fumbled around trying to figure out what do you do without kids. Like, legit. It was like a weird.
We went on a day date.
We went on a day date that we.
Here's the multiple things that are. Okay. First off, we had time away from our kids. That in and of itself was like
That-
the first time we've done that in forever. And then also we had a day date, which is the first time we've done that in forever. So there's a lot of, that's why I was like, where are you starting? Because there's like multiple things Saturday brought that, and we hung out with a bunch of young people.
We're getting there. We're going to get
forever.
there. We're totally getting there. Like, yeah. So we dropped the kids off. You think what I'm thinking?
Bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep going.
I'm such a boy.
Go.
Anyways, we dropped our kids off at my parents', and then we went downtown and dined at our favorite restaurant. Love this place. J. Alexander's.
Yeah.
Just makes me feel all special inside. Anyways.
It does, but it's got the right amount of fancy, because I don't really want to go to a place.
Yeah, like, I mean, I
that's,
went in like shorts
judgmental
and a
fancy.
t-shirt.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Yeah.
like, but it's just like really good.
It's like
yeah.
it's like a step up from Cheddar's.
Exactly. It's
like-
a fancy Longhorn.
It is. It's a fancy Longhorn.
But like, you can come in as you are.
Yeah, I think I wore a t-shirt.
Yeah.
So like it wasn't.
Yeah, I
bad.
wore like gym shorts and a shirt.
Yeah.
You know.
You probably were a little.
Was I a little under?
No, you had the nice looking gym shorts. They really didn't look like gym shorts.
Yeah. Like, he don't work out. He just wears those to make him feel good about himself.
It's like those. Have you ever seen those pajamas that look like jeans, but they're not?
Oh,
Pajama pants?
yes.
Yeah.
I do know what you're talking about now. Yes, I do know what you're talking about. Anyway, so we did that, and then we were running around, and we ended up stopping at the church and finding all the young people, the camp band,
Yeah.
practicing, and we got to chit-chatting with them, and we were like, actually, here's how it started. I said, y'all, I'm feeling crazy right now. I want to get a cookie from the All-American Cookie. Is it All-American
Great
Cookie?
American
The
Cookie.
Great American Cookie at a mall somewhere. I'm craving that. And they were like, well, we're feeling crazy too. And so here we are, first weekend. I mean, seriously, when's the last time? I can't think of a time we found ourselves hanging out with the students.
Before kids.
Before kids. This is the last time. We said, we're back, people. No, I'm just kidding. No, it was fun. We had a really good time. We ended up going to Opry Mills, walking around, finally got the cookie, and then went and picked up our kiddos, went to bed.
You know, I hadn't been to Aubrey Mills since 2019. So since then, they've implemented some things. And
Oh, yeah, we became guardians overnight.
I got an old person bracelet.
Absolutely.
Real quick.
Real quick.
Never, ever, ever questioned me on whether or not I was over 18.
Oh,
Never.
I'm deeply
And I
not
made it a
flattered.
point. I had two different places that we had to go through that had those stops. And I
Never
made it
even
a point
questioned it.
with both of the people. I was like, so you didn't even question how old I was? And both of them, one of them was a police officer, and he instantly got tickled. Instantly. The other guy was a little like, oh God, should I be scared? Because he was asking everybody's age. And
Yeah.
then he didn't ask mine. But as he went, I went, please don't ask my age. I don't like to give that out. And he got really tickled
Yeah.
at that. But at first he was like, oh my God.
Yeah. I don't know what to do with this. This is very scary. I'm very scared. Oh my gosh, that's
But yeah.
funny.
I'm very happy though. People implement things like that at the mall. Once you're at 3 p.m., if you are a minor, you can't be there without a guardian. And I think that's really good because we had some trouble going on in that mall, and it's a great mall, but there was a lot of chaos, and it had to do with kids that were unattended, teenagers that didn't have a guardian. And so I think that's a good step to, it's a little inconvenient, I'm sure, but it's okay if we're inconvenienced if it brings about. I've always said I don't blame the kids, I blame the parents. So you're kind of putting them into the responsibility category.
Well,
So I like that.
it's interesting because used to, like, the mall was like the unsaid babysitter. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You and your friends go hang out at the mall. Mm-hmm. Like, don't do that anymore. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Well, that's vulgar.
I don't hear it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, anyways, the mall, they're changing it. They're bringing the adults Come watch your
Yeah.
kids.
Anyways, that's how that.
Come watch your kids.
Yeah, watch your kids. Can't do that anymore.
But yes, anyways, it is Monday. I don't know what listen, if you're on here, you can message back and see if you agree with me. I am sluggish today.
Oh, are you?
I am.
Is it because of the clouds?
Maybe.
It's a little cloudy.
Yeah. It was like I woke up today and it felt like it should have been 3 a.m. and I had more sleep to do, but I didn't. I think a lot of it has to do with the air quality and things like that going on here. It's just very, very dry. I'm hoping these clouds bring, I'm one of those people. We sure need some rain. But it's true because we're under like a no burn.
Oh, like no.
Thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
I get it. It's like super dry. Oh my gosh, here we go.
Y'all are dry again.
We're becoming
Yes, Nick was up to 4.
those old people talking about the weather.
And wanting to go to the zoo with his cousins. Oh, yeah. I bet you're exhausted.
Exhaustion.
Yeah. So, anyways, last week we talked about habits, hacks, and routines.
Habits, hacks, routines to get you better. This week.
Teresa's exhausted.
Oh yeah.
I bet.
Yeah, I was about to say she watched the children. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Let's before we start in for this week, let's talk a little bit about some stuff coming up. Okay. So this week, well, let me start off by saying next week we'll be in Gatlinburg for IF camp. And just so you know, there's no signal up there.
None.
But
also time.
Or time. That's true. That's true. Like to make the show, like that's going to be exhausting. Anyways, though, but this week we are only going to do 4 days. Today, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Okay. And from that point on, we're actually going to take a little, what do you call that? A hiatus?
A hernia?
We're going to take a break. We're going to take a break in July because we're going to, me and Brittany and Martinez, we've been talking about some things that I think. Sabbatical. Martinez says sabbatical. I like that.
We're just, yeah.
So we're going to take a little summer break and fine tune a few things because we want to bring a new approach, a brand new format. Like we've got some great ideas that we want to bring to the morning show, and it's going to take us a little bit of time to get it going. So we're going to finish this week off strong with what's the word? Strong week. I don't know. Like let's try that again. Yeah. We're going to finish the month. There we go, because Thursday's the last day of the month. And we're going to do things a little different, okay? Because we're going to have a daily topic, not a weekly topic, a daily topic. 4 topics this week, 1 per day. Here are the topics.
This sounds very Michael Scott-esque.
45 days. 45. Starting day 45. Working back.
45-step plan.
We're back in business. Anyways. We should play that clip. That's funny.
Anyways, 4 days, 4 topics.
We're going to take a break. And this week we're going to do daily topics. Those topics are faith, family, health, wealth.
I'm really excited about 4.
Show me the money. No, anyways. So go ahead. Capture those words. Faith, family, health, wealth. Now, I don't know if you agree with this or not, but I feel like those are 4 pretty important topics.
Yeah.
Okay? They're very important. One day is not justice to them, but it at least gets us a conversation started on each of these. And obviously today we're going to start out with faith. Mm-hmm. Faith, which is, it's kind of easy to, Let's see who's. Hey, Coda. Good morning. We've got Becky here. Good morning. By the way, we've got TJ here with us. We've got Kayla here. Teresa, Mother Teresa. And I think that's so far that's disclosed themselves so far. But, we just came out of a great service yesterday at Point of Mercy.
I'm yawning.
Yep, tag Mark. Brittany's yawning. And like faith, Brittany, how important is faith in your life? Same thing for Martinez. Like, I want you to be thinking about that. How important is faith in your life? What do you think about that? What do y'all think? Like when we even talk about faith, like, man, what does that make you think of?
The word?
Sure.
A couple of different things. I mean, obviously, the first thing that I think of is my walk with God. That's my faith. And then just faith in the literal sense of the show.
By the way, Mark sees you.
Yep, I see you.
I see you.
In the literal sense of the word faith, you know, is just, it's still kind of, it all goes back to my walk with God. So, yeah. Okay,
walk with God. You said a couple things. Was there anything else that came to your mind when you think about faith?
So I was saying, I mean, even like the word itself, I still always lead back to my walk, like having faith that things are going to work out, having faith that it's just a very...
Well, let me ask you, here's a good question. Are those things distinctly different, or are they different sides of the same coin?
Well, I think, that was my point. Like, it all, faith is complete trust or confidence in someone or something.
Right.
So I can't talk about faith without it connecting to my walk with God, because that's the ultimate thing.
Right. So, and I'm glad you're saying that, because even Kayla said, like, are we talking about faith like definition? Or, Mark, I said the same thing. You don't take a whole lot. Just gotta use what you got here. Sorry. I went there. So, Kayla finished it. Just use what you got. Pentecostal people, we can't help it. We just, triggering words. But like for me, absolutely. So obviously I'm going to gravitate towards, well, yeah, of course I have faith in God, right? And then it's almost like we take that same faith and then but we're like, oh no, this is a different faith because I'm believing for things to work out in my life. So, but for me, it kind of goes back to what you said a few weeks ago. That's kind of like your new little tagline. If it's biblical, it's possible. So for me, when I think about faith, I have faith for things because of God. It's so in other words, my faith in God is what perpetuates my faith in things working out for my good, right? Because it's almost like, you ever seen like a light when it hits a mirror, and then the mirror, you can shift the mirror and it bounces the light. Like it's like if I'm pointing my faith towards God, if it's it's like whatever I need, right? It's like it gets directed. I'm not believing in Him to get stuff, but I'm just simply saying, because I believe there are principles, promises, things that just naturally happen because of Him. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. What do you think, Martinez?
Yeah, I'm just sitting here trying to fix a bottle, but...
Oh, you're good, bro. Bottle time.
Let me get my video on so you get... But when it comes to faith, it's obviously, I associate faith with... First I've ever heard the word faith was associated with the gospel, with, Christ. And I, over time, people are like, well, you can have faith in anything. And, and I started thinking, well, I guess you can, but it's just, I'm like, I wonder if that word it's been hijacked, from the gospel. But like, faith, is everything. It's like, the core of who you are, or at least who I am.
Yeah.
I don't understand, like where I would possibly, like what else I could possibly have faith in if I didn't have faith in God, if I didn't have faith in the gospel, if I didn't believe in the word. I can't imagine, like where I would have the privilege to give my energy,
right,
and time, because I don't, nothing else is worthy of my energy and time and my mind space, so to speak, from day to day. Like, I'm certainly not going to give it to ESPN, or on my energies of time, my or DC, not DC Comics, though a lot of people do that, but I'm talking about
Washington.
DC, but, or the political world. People like, you've restored my faith in politicians. Oh, really? You have that type of, that type of a belief or stability in saying that you have faith restored in politicians do it for you. I don't know. I mean, but yeah, faith is just real. You got to have it, and if you're gonna have it in the real thing.
I don't think everybody does this, and I'm not judging people that don't do it this way. Like, I'm not saying, hey, this is like you're a bad person for something contradicting what I'm saying. But for me, I don't use the word faith he's saying the same thing. I don't use the word faith in anything that's not related to God. I have faith that this job will work out. I have faith that, I don't use the word faith in that context. I'm not saying it's not necessarily an accurate way to use it. I'm just, for me, faith it only goes back to God. And so, I'm a definition nerd, and it makes sense just in the definition in of itself, the way it makes me feel, because faith is complete trust or confidence in something or someone. I have complete trust in God. I don't have complete trust like that in anything other than God. Anything.
Yes.
Belief is accepting something as true or feel sure of the truth of. So I believe, I'm accepting that the truth is I'm capable of getting that job. You know what I'm saying? I accept that it's true that I am able to start my health journey. I accept that it's true. So for me, it's like, if I'm going to use if I'm going to use a word for that, it's believe. I believe. I believe that this is going to work out. I believe that this, but when I think of faith, that's attaching my God to the situation.
Yeah.
So I use that.
Hi, girl, baby. We got Adley with us.
Yeah. So I use that in that. Yes. Poppies. Okay.
We'll take you over
Yeah.
there later.
Yeah.
Why don't you come see us?
Because only God can make those things we can't see as though they were. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I'll tell you this. For me, I think that concept makes sense. Like, so yesterday, your dad preached about the manna. Like, so let me, like, if you don't know what manna is, if you remember the story in the Bible, or the time in the Bible in which the children of Israel were wandering in the wilderness, they had just left Egypt, right? And they're in the wilderness. They didn't have anything to eat, so God sent manna and gave specific directions on how to gather it, what to do with it, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Fast forward in the gospel, Jesus is talking about this same scenario, because people are saying, well, hey, these people had a sign. What sign do you? And he said, well, that bread, that manna, that was actually me. I am the bread. I am that bread. I am that life-giving, need-meeting, right? I am that. And if you partake of me, you'll never hunger or thirst. And so for me, it took me to this place, okay, in terms of where I think I'm going with with faith. So the point of the manna was to leverage a need that you have in your life to point you to God. In other words, we get so focused on what we need that we lose sight of who we need. And to your point, you can either be consumed with what you need to consume, or you can be consumed with the one that brings, right, what you need. Like to be concerned about your need is to miss the one that you do need, because my faith in him allows me to believe for the things that are in my life. Does that make sense? Like it's actually this transient concept, because like I think that's where if you look at even the Beatitudes, when Jesus was talking about don't worry, don't be anxious, all these, he immediately, let me back up. He talked about, not serving money. He goes immediately into the concepts of, hey, don't worry about your needs. Don't worry about your needs. Because the truth is, the money that you think fixes that need is not what you need. The who you need is God. You need God because God is the one that makes all of these other things work in your life. And by honoring him, you're doing that which is most important. So that's for me, kind of like what you're saying. Absolutely. I don't look at things, and let me say this. I'm now in a season of my life where I'm trying to be considerate of the things around me and the needs in my life, and think to myself, wait a minute, that need is actually pointing me to my real need. Like I really don't have needs. Like it's all made up. If I really just step back and just think about it, like I don't have needs. God satisfies me. If I have a need, that means, okay, I've got to look to the need meter, like the one that meets the needs. I don't know, like that's a place where for me, I guess I'm growing in my faith. Does that make sense to you? Like what I'm saying? What do you think, Martinez? You were in service.
I think there is a tendency, particularly as it relates to, being in a capitalistic society where things are glorified and events are glorified and occasions are glorified to not only love the creature more than the creator,
Right,
but also have faith in that creature or in that event or that source being like, whatever that thing is, to being and mistaking it as the source of your being. You can easily start having faith in, having faith in home ownership. Okay, really? Is it, there's a lot of people that have homes and they're broken. So is it the homes or is it home ownership? So I get it. It's like, you can, it's, depending on your appetite, that the need that you have can misalign you, can actually confuse you, and of thinking like people of Israel, they're focusing on the manna so much that that their appetite is being fulfilled, that they lose sight of the one who brought the manna to them on a day-to-day. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's super easy to do. Like, it's almost, it doesn't shock me when that's the case for people. It's just like, I just need to like be mindful, take heed as you fall. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, to your point, okay, a couple things about that really fascinates me about that. Number one, talking about the craving, right? So literally the later on in that narrative, they get tired of the manna. Even though they don't have to work for the manna, they get tired of the manna. And that's when God says, okay, if you're tired of the manna, I'll send you something different. I'll let you give in to your cravings. And the Bible said that when they ate of that meat, that they died, because and God called that the place with the craving, in the sense that, hey, you know what, you're craving something outside of what I'm providing. And that's a problem, because what I'm providing is sustainable, dependable. You don't have to create it or cultivate it. It's already out there. All you have to do is gather, which is my another aha moment that I'm trying to take and say, okay, how do I apply this in my life? If God's provision, his manna, if what he has provided is abundant in nature, and I have the ability to gather to my fill, how is there any lack in my life? What's the breakdown? Does that make sense? Oh, okay. I thought you had a point when you were like,
I always hear that story, and I've heard several people talk about that story. I think we're hard on the Israelites because it's so obvious, blatantly obvious. Mm-hmm. God is there. Mm-hmm. We have a hard time seeing God. They had a cloud by day and fire by night. But they're like, since when would they basically they went to manna and they said, hey, this isn't enough.
Yeah, I'm tired of this.
Since when is what God gives you not enough?
Right.
How could you say that about God?
Yeah.
And then you step
Who
back
are
and
you
think,
to define
yeah,
what's good enough?
But you sit back and think, nothing's changed.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed in this world. We are constantly rejecting manna as a society and turning to other things to fulfill us constantly, because we live in a state of craving. In that sense, and we see that it's very prevalent in the news, and everything like that. So yeah, just to that point, ultimately you're saying it's not enough. And I always say this, because you've got these preachers that have preached, and I'm not naming names, but just over time, right? Like a perpetual theme over time. I'm not necessarily putting a person to this, but you get irritated at people that talk about all the frou-frou things about God and the gospel, and prosperity gospel they talk about, and you get irritated at speakers that talk about all you got to do is come up here, get God's here to basically hand out candy. Is almost how they. But I always say God doesn't always give you what you want, but he will always give you what you need.
Yeah.
He will always give you what you need. I don't think there's anything that's untrue, unless it's just a blatant lie that's against the Bible, that all of the good things of God, I just don't think that you can just speak about that and not speak about the hard times. I do believe that the whole manna concept, that was consistent. That was enough. That was what they needed. But I think they were conflicted with want and need, based on traditions, based on past slavery that kept them bound to what they're used to. Sorry, I didn't mean to nerd out, but yeah.
No, I mean, this is, go ahead.
By the way, I'm not sure if your feed is different, because I don't see you guys anymore. I don't know if it might be impacting your social media feed out there. But I was just thinking as it relates to faith and them, and it's just an idea, just a thought, but to your point, like how is it that you're in a desert or you don't have food and you get tired of God being your provider or what God is providing you? And I said to myself, it's probably easy when you start when things become inside out, like as far as you being selfish versus being in a place of gratitude and gratefulness, because it's like gratitude kind of tells you like, hey, it lets you know that it's not about you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gratitude says it's I'm just happy to be in the number. Thank you, God, that I get another day,
Yeah.
And so it's just an outside thought, like is it, and if you're not grateful, then how easy for faith to kind of dissipate, from your life. I'm just rolling that around in my head, not a talking point per se, but I can't imagine. But I imagine we do it every day. We get tired of oh God, this is not enough. I don't like. I'm getting tired. I'm getting tired of steak. You know what I mean?
Yeah. At the crux of it, though, it's a faith problem, because faith. Here's my point. I believe in God. I see him. He's there, right? Cloud by day, fire by night. You've shown. There's all of a sudden this miraculous manna that appears out of nowhere, right? I believe that you're there. I believe that you are God. But I'm struggling with my faith, because faith has to do with complete trust. And I can believe in God till the day is done and still have a trust problem. You know what I'm saying? And that is a faith issue, because faith is in direct connection to trust.
Let me ask you all, this is for the chat too. Maybe, okay. Have you ever struggled with this? It's not the like in terms of faith, have you ever struggled with this question? Is this it? Is this
like life?
Is that life? Exactly. Is this it? Is this what? Like, is this what I'm just gonna have to do until?
Yeah.
Is this? In other words, thank you, God. Yeah, I get it. I put some calories into my system, and yeah, I've got a job, and I've got some stuff. But is this it? Is this literally what am I just stuck doing this?
Yeah. I think people go through that when they experience a loss of any kind, or a diagnosis, or a total shift in life. And then also, just sheer unhappiness. But I think a big jar of is this it is usually when you're faced with loss. You didn't expect to lose that job. You didn't expect to lose that person. You didn't expect, and that could be, death, the end of a relationship, end of a job, financial loss. It could be any of that. And it's like you have that big jar of, oh my God, is this my life? Like, seriously, I'm this person now? And you attach that label, unemployed to the label.
I mean, but even I don't know, even just waking up at one day and being like, I'll tell you this. I think when you have had it, to your point, you've had enough life hit you, that all of a sudden there is this little bit of fear of, I had all these dreams, wishes, desires, thoughts. How about this? Even beliefs of what God was going to do. But now I'm starting to wonder, is God confining me to just this?
Yeah.
Is this does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. I used to ask a lot, is this all I'll ever amount to?
Yeah. Am I, into the analogy of the story, am I confined to wondering? Am I just wandering through life? Is this how this is actually supposed to go? Is there something wrong with me?
Yeah. I don't think it's a bad thing to ask questions, because I personally think that is your deep desire for purpose. You know, it's just, if it's not controlled, you know, it can be a...
Well, I have an opinion on this, and again, I feel like I look in Scripture and I look at the situation, and here's the deal. That's not all it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
But the problem is, see, I believe that when it comes to belief, everyone believes something. If you believe it's possible, we call that faith. If you believe it's not possible, that's doubt. It's a belief, right? What was the definition you said of belief? It's
Accepting.
I'm
absolute
accepting what is true. But the question is, are you accepting that it's truly for you, or are you accepting that it's not for you? And the truth is, they lost promise because they doubted. They were, and here's the deal. God said, hey, this generation doesn't get to inherit promise because they're not the people who get promise. Doubters don't get promise. Faith gets promise. And so, like, for me, I think that in the situation of the manna, yeah, I'm getting tired of it, but I've lost sight that I'm here for a moment. I'm actually pursuing a promise. And so when you get stuck, you start desiring and craving things that are not for it. The meat was not for you. The manna was for you, but it wasn't to keep you here. It was to give you a taste of promise. Like when your dad talked about, I never put that together, that the manna, you know, kind of tasted like wafer and honey. Well, the promised land flows with milk and honey. The idea is, I'm giving you a taste of promise until you get there.
It's a faint taste.
It's a little faint taste just to keep you alive long enough to get you to where I'm trying to really get you to. But the problem is, you've allowed doubt to settle into your hearts and your minds. And because of that doubt, you are stuck because you doubt that anything better is on its way.
That's a great business eye opener as well. Entrepreneurship.
Here's the deal about principles. You want to test a principle? If you want to know if a principle is true, it should be able to work in any arena that you put it up against. Like the principle of faith, the more I look at it, you just said it, applies to business, applies to your family, applies to your fitness, right? Like it should be something that is a template that I take in one arena. And see, I think that's where we're like, I don't mean this in we, I mean as in a corporate body of believers. We're losing our love for Sundays because we have not truly understood how to take Sunday and translate it into Monday.
Yeah.
Tuesday, Wednesday. We don't take the experience, we don't take the principles of the experience that we garnished out of the Word and apply it to the day. So we heard a great speech and you know, we love our pastor. What a great guy. What a great great people. But now let's just go back to wondering.
Yeah. Do you take it? Do you apply it? Do you see where you could use it?
Like that's where I'm like, okay, what are the principles of the manna? Like that's I've been like journaling. What's the principles of? And I feel like that's where we're at. The manna is the principle of the manna is to show me I have no true need in my life.
Yeah.
You do not have if you have a need, the need is pointing you to the who. Man, I got to get this fixed. No, God, how would you like me to? I know you've got the need met. How am I to gather what you've already provided?
Yeah.
It's already there. I just haven't figured out how to pick it up. I ain't picking up what he's laying down. I've missed it somehow. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I have to first, though, believe that he has provided. Okay, we got comments. Sorry.
Yes. Oh, you're fine.
I'm getting fired up.
Well, I was just for when.
Oh, here we go.
Whenever you're ready, I was just pointing.
Here we
so
go.
you would know.
Point.
No, you're
okay. TJ said, I think the Lord allows you to be positioned in those dark times of the soul to bring you to the fulfillment of your dreams because it causes you to draw closer to Him. And from Him, all doors are fulfilled and opened to new opportunities. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's how you place your faith in God and apply it to all things, because you realize at that point all things come from God. You know, that's a great way to intertwine your faith into other avenues, right?
I agree. We got Lucian on here. Good morning, Lucian. He said, walking by faith becomes more of a lifestyle and almost easier when you realize that grace is the reason you are able to even walk. Therefore, grace has kept me, so I have faith it will keep me until the end. That's good. That's good.
The beauty of it's impossible, to just stay. You're not perfect. We're going to fall in faith, right? We're really unworthy for that faith, but because of grace, we're able. And so if you've veered from your faith, that grace can then smack you right back where you need to go, but in a good way. It's like, don't let the unworthiness keep you from the road of faith, because when you give your best, God meets you where you are. You know what I mean? I love grace.
Well, let me tell you something. Grace, here's the missing part of grace, okay? And this is where, depending on how you land, okay, it could be controversial to you, but it's not intended to, because it's very clear in Scripture. It's very clear in Scripture. You cannot earn your grace, so stop. Stop trying to earn the grace that God has already given you, okay? And quit trying to assume that there is some kind of meritocratic system that allows you to twist the arm of God to do something that He's already said, I want to do for you. He already said He would provide. The problem is not His provision, it's your gathering. Like, what are you not getting that God has not already provided? My assumption is it has to do with your belief. You are not choosing faith, you're choosing doubt. You can tell me every reason why you can't have the things that you desire that God's already clearly said in Scripture you should have. You can tell me all the reasons you can't, and you've overlooked every single reason why you should. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's the counterpart. You're doubting.
That same idea, though, you can't earn your grace. You can't earn. Well, too many people try to, that doesn't mean you're, okay, well, then I have grace, so I can just live however I want to live. That's not the same thing, right? Like, this goes back to what I said earlier, go as far as you can go, right? God will meet you the rest of the way. I'm giving my best. I'm doing my best. I'm not perfect, but I'm doing my best. And when you do your best, God does His. It's far greater than what you could ever do. So He can meet you wherever you are. That's what I love about God. But if you have the idea of you can earn something in regards to your faith, that's also translated into other things. Like, so you read Scripture and say, if I have faith as small as a grain of a mustard seed, I can say to that mountain, be removed, right? So I have a little bit of faith, so I can, if you're not careful, it sounds a little bit like I can manipulate God to do my bidding because I have faith. And so I can just put what I want in this situation and have it happen because I said Jesus. And I pushed that and made that happen. You're taking control. You're guiding the situation, and really you've inserted the name of God, but you've completely excluded God from the situation because now you're in control and now you hold the situation in your hands. Now this goes back to, I said it earlier, God may not give you what you want, but He will always give you what you need, right? Like if I have an issue in my body, right? If my pancreas is having trouble, right? Or if I have appendicitis, right? I need my gallbladder removed. I don't want this, but I'm going to have surgery because it's what I need, right? I don't like that. I don't like that I need that. You're going to have to cut me open and it ain't going to be nice. And I'm going to have a recovery time and my life's going to be altered a little bit for a second, but it's what I need. So, I can't place God in a situation where I've earned my grace and I'm also taking your job. You know what I mean? Like, and here, you're going to do this because it's what I want. No, you're going to say, I'm going to do the best that I can and I'm going to trust God every step of the way in situations that I can't control because you are ultimately God and I know that you're going to give me what I need. Even if what I need hurts, I trust you'll see me through it. I trust, sorry.
No, I mean,
I just feel like sometimes people take certain things in the Bible and they've had it in their head that it's this way. And then when things don't go that way, then all of a sudden, well, it just must not be true. Everything about this God thing just must not be true. And it's your interpretation of it. You excluded God from your situation a long time ago. You just kept Jesus in, kept the name in there, but that was it. He's got Jason.
Yeah, that kind of puts me in what you're talking about, Brittany. Kind of puts me in mind of the scripture that says, with their mouth they praise me, but their heart is far from me.
Yeah.
Like when you are attempting to insert Jesus in an effort to kind of like somewhat, get your way or manipulate. I mean, God knows. I mean, there's nothing that we can hide from him, right? And so like the thing that's interesting is he understands, even when I say Jesus, even when I say, Lord, I want this, he understands the origin from which his name is being cried out, like the motivation, he understands a child that, or it's just like the school teacher knows when the kid says, hey, the dog, where's your homework? And he says, oh, the dog ate my homework. Okay. Oh, what can you tell a teacher that they haven't heard already? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As to the reasons why you're not prepared. What can you tell Jesus? What can you tell God at all that he hadn't heard, that he understands where you're coming from as it relates to manipulation or whatever, or this control, this idea that you got to have your hands on the wheel in order for it to for the car to go in the right way or something like that. But I think people get kind of confused, and maybe with grace as well. Of course, you certainly can't earn grace, but sometimes we hear the scripture, faith without works is dead, and we apply works with everything associated with the Bible, as it relates to grace. Well, if faith without works is dead, that means I got to work to find faith, and I must got to work to earn my grace. And we just all need to be sitting in a Bible study and get some true learning. Some real meat and potatoes. Graduate from milk.
Yeah.
To bread. And from children to sons to fathers, to men of God, you know what I mean? So there is not enough time in the day to kind of like, scratch the significance of any of these subjects, but it's just, at the end of the day, grace is given. You can't earn it. Faith, you can't earn it, but it's, without works, it's dead, and so, and just because you say God this and Jesus that, doesn't, he even says, hey, there's Israelites, in the last days, there's people that'll call my name and be like, hey, get out from among me, evil and wicked people, I know you're not. Yeah. I'm paraphrasing,
Yeah.
And so it's like, but I I love what you all are saying. And I love also, like, yeah, this is it. Whatever it is this it? Okay. Yeah, it could be whether it's unemployment or surgery. Yeah, this is it. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. But it's also the line of demarcation to kind of like decide whether you descend from God's presence or you ascend closer to God's presence.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, this it? Yeah. Is this it? Absolutely. This is it. Doggone it. So how are you going to respond? How are you going to respond?
There's a lot God
descend?
leaves up to you in that regard.
Yeah.
Like I think God asks you that question. Is this it?
Right.
Like it's up to you.
Here we go. Lucian said, Jason, it's like Abraham wasn't able to see the, quote, promise, end quote, land because he went by what worked before, but his faith lacked in what the Lord instructed the next time. The church is important, and what the word spoken the next time will be different, and what may help you receive your promise. We live on an emotion of yesterday and what worked yesterday. He doubted in what was different, so he wasn't able to see the promised land. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. TJ said, yes. Imagine there are several times God says, quote, isn't that cute? They're trying that again, end quote. LOL. Dude, that's funny.
I like TJ's interpretation of God's humor.
Isn't that cute?
I feel like that's an accurate depiction. I like that what Lucian said too, because too often we hold on to yesterday's traditions and attach the traditions that we have kind of placed based on society and the era and call it the gospel. The gospel doesn't change. You don't change the gospel.
Yeah.
You don't, that's the same, but based on, what worked at the time to spread said gospel, might be different tomorrow. But the gospel never changes, but you're holding on to traditions based on, and that could be, goodness gracious, that could be anything. I don't mean that in a specific area. That could be anything in your life. That could be people that hold on to their style of music. As little as that, right? You're holding on to what you're comfortable with. I know when I was a young person, that was hard for me as I was kind of trying to bring in. I came into a lot of church work through music. And there was a lot of the stuff I wanted. I was the Chris Tomlin generation, where it was like, let's do this. How great is our God?
The guitar's the new piano.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so that wasn't, it was like, I don't like the way that sounds. Some of the older people weren't real crazy about it. And they're not even older people, though. You picture older people and you're like, well, my 80-plus grandmother doesn't like this. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about
middle-aged adults.
Yeah, middle-aged adults that didn't like it. And I have found myself now looking at some of the newer music and not necessarily,
resonating.
Yeah, it's not resonating with me necessarily. However, I will never forget the way that felt when I had to fight for my for that opportunity to express my worship in that way. I had to fight for that a little bit. Now, not against my parents. Thankfully, my dad was that person for me that was like, hey, let's do this. And I want to be that kind of person. So, like, when I see McKendra in Brooklyn and, even Angelina and Lance, when they're like, this song is resonating with them, and I see that it is, it's not about my opinion, right? Like, the lyrics align with our faith. I want to be able to bring that, let's come in together. Let's do this. So
I on that, just like opinion on that.
Yeah.
I think one of the issues that happens is the cycle is I'm young and I have a vision of how things should be. And when I finally get to the, quote, place that things are as they should be, guess what? There's some generation coming up that sees things not as you see them. And so the hot button is, well, hang on a second. that doesn't touch my soul. That doesn't, right? We've made it to the promised land and we're not ready. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the problem is you've made promise something that it's not. It's not your thing. It's the kingdom.
Yeah.
Like if we do an old song, if we do a new song, it does not matter, because the principle is this: am I expressing a joy through the? I'll tell you this: the thing for me, if I'm being very honest, and I'm not like this lyrical blah blah blah, but does the words of the song, does it create? Is it a declaration of truth? In other words, am I singing truth? Is what I'm saying matching the word of God? Is it a way to express that? That's the only time I'll ever have a problem, is if we're like, well, that don't make sense.
I know, right?
Like, why would you even say, like, that's not accurate? Because that's not worship. That's like, hey, I don't care. Bring a banjo up there. I don't care. I really do not care. Because
Been there.
I don't care.
I don't care if it's a banjo. I don't care if it's 2 cans of empty cans and someone banging them with spoons.
Yeah.
Doggone it. I'm in the house of the Lord. I'm just glad to be here.
Yeah.
And I am grateful for what he has planned for me today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if there's something that I don't like or care, or it's not my fancy, guess what? It's a great opportunity for me to tap into the gifts of the Spirit and practice patience.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And practice preferring my brother more than me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And practice humility. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm kind of like old school in that when I say old school, I'm just like, just let people, don't. First of all, I got to earn the right to say something they say in sales. You have to earn the right to ask commitment from your buyer that, hey, you want this product. Hey, would you buy this product? You got to earn that right. But I think in a lot of ways, like me, I got to and I say this to the youth, earn the right, show, do you love this word? Fall in love with this word. Quit trying to, anyway, I don't want to go too far off. You know what I mean? But like, I'm like, just be thankful. Just be grateful. Just like, I wake up, you got gas in your car. You were able to drive your own vehicle with your own keys to a house of the Lord. You know what I mean? Like there's so much to be thankful for than your lack of opportunity or of not being able to sing or 5 minutes on the, Glamour or whatever, 30 seconds, you know what I mean? Anyway, but
no, I love it.
I appreciate that you're that way. Not everybody's that. I really appreciate that, because I worship with you on Sundays. I see you, like, you genuinely are the same no matter what song is sang, and I appreciate that. Yeah.
Well, and I apologize, and that's kind of for you to say, but it's not that you're trying to make it about me, though I love that. but the thing about it is, it's like, the energy of God is so important. The energy in the upper room where God fell on 120 people. If there's going to be a move of God and a move of Christ, we need to have the right energy. We got to have like everything, all the cylinders going in the right direction. And what's the likelihood of that if I show up with my big eye? You know what I mean? Yeah. And looking over at someone else's little you. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so it's like that's and at the end of the day, that deteriorates my faith. Yeah. Yeah. That takes away from the opportunity to for my faith to be enhanced that day. Yeah. For God to pour more into me. And I'm like, I'm listen, you messing around with the God stuff over something carnal, y'all can have it. Yeah. I'm out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's out. Yeah. I was getting ready. I don't want to go on a rant either, but there's nothing I like. Yeah, I am a kind person, and I always try to to be positive. But if you ever see me have something I would refer to as righteous anger over something some people would refer to as petty, it's going to be when your opinion is inserted when it's not asked for. Right? Like, so if there's a set of songs that we're supposed to do, right? And you decide to insert your opinion when you were not a part of the making of those songs because you don't like the style that they are, you're going to get a side of me that's not necessarily a normal side, because I have a righteous anger, because I know this song appeals to somebody that's in the room that needs to get closer to God, that might in fact be better than who we are and take the gospel farther than even we could. But you're so set on your opinions that you can't allow these people an opportunity to worship. The gospel is being spread. There is no contradicting lyrics in this song that would contradict the word of God. Yet you're holding on to what you think you want, not what they want. And I know that some people feel like, well, this is what I feel because we've all talked about it. Who is we all? Because you're going to gravitate to your own type of person. So everybody in your circle, this goes back to what we talked about community. Everybody in your circle will have a similar mindset, because what's the thing about community? Relatability. So of course you're going to have the same idea because you're in your community and there's relatability and you have the same genre, right? But there's some young people here that this resonates to. So I think it's important as believers and as church workers that we open our minds up to some things that maybe are outside of our preference level, as long as the gospel can't be changed, right?
Well, even
and maybe you don't know the gospel like you should, so I would, get that foundation, right? So as long as you know nothing veers from the gospel, it's okay to get outside of your preferences a little bit, to get some more people involved, expand your community.
Well, I have found, and I think you have too. Of course, I don't know. We're kind of in a family niche right now.
Right,
We'll kind of probably continue this tomorrow, but
not that our family does this. We're not saying that.
No. But like, for instance, it's kind of interesting to be in a situation where young people bring you songs that resonate with them, because then you get to ask, so what about this appeals to you?
Yeah.
Is it the music? Is it the melody? How about the words? What do the words, like, what do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's actually an opportunity to say, I like where you're going. Tell me why we're here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because now all of a sudden you get these little, because maybe there is a song and it's like, you can't just, like, the worst thing that you could do to somebody is say, why are you listening to that song?
I know.
That's an awful song.
Yeah.
What the crap's wrong? Are you a freaking loser? Like,
why are we like?
The question would be, okay,
this isn't worship.
Yeah.
It's.
Like the bigger question would be to ask questions.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. So tell me. So how do you feel this song?
Yeah.
What message do you think it conveys? Like, what does this do to promote the worship of Christ? Like you know what I'm saying? Like, put it on them.
Mm-hmm.
Don't put them in the defense. Anyways.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Let me go ahead and clarify too, because I'm not somebody this is not necessarily people in my group. This is not people we have a great community that is very open to things, but it doesn't take very long with the internet being what it is to see the statements that I'm referring to made.
Oh,
All
my
you
gosh.
have to do is watch somebody release a song on like YouTube and look at the comments. Like it's on
These people are disgraceful.
Yeah,
they're promoting a false gospel.
Yeah, I don't need somebody on here being like, oh God, who do we know at Point of Mercy or the IAF that she's talking about?
You all sang that song?
Yeah, I'm talking about the comments.
Do you know who wrote that song?
Yeah. Do you know their backstory? Do you know what But like, because it's
Did you listen to their podcast?
And it's so ridiculous to me because it's like you're not even. Do you even have a foundation? Do you know the gospel? And I genuinely ask people that, because there are some people, what we believe in our, Pentecostal faith, right? Not everybody can sit there and explain what they believe and why they believe it. So I would start there, right? Like, and it's okay if you don't. There's always a place to start. Don't be ashamed of where you're starting, right? Be motivated to get to where you want to go, or rather, be confident that you can get to where you can go, not motivation. It's never there when you need it.
Yeah, we
But-
don't like motivation. If you came here to get motivated, keep scrolling because we're not going to motivate you. Get out of here, you deadbeat.
What are you guys? We're unmotivational speakers. That's what we are.
You know what your problem is? You have an addiction to motivation. Okay?
I heard a pastor on TikTok attacking the song "How Great Is Our God," and our God is an awesome God.
Yeah.
Like seriously, and it's
Bunch
so
of reprobates.
frustrating. Yeah, because imagine the sincerity of the person that wrote this song, or imagine and let's make it more personal. Imagine the sincerity of the young person that brought you this song and said, "Hey, I really like this song," and you just knocking it right or not listening to them is going to immediately make them feel unheard and disappointed, and that might keep them from doing any other thing in the church, and that's just to me heartbreaking, right? Like that's heartbreaking.
I think this is important, okay? TJ says no tambourines. Okay? That's what, we can get with anything but no tambourines. Of course, Mark says tambourines are okay if played right, just like a cowbell.
This is true. But tambourines, when you're next to the person on the tambourine,
Oh, man, I
all you
understand.
hear is said tambourine.
There
music.
there may or may not be a tambourine at our church somewhere, undisclosed.
I don't know.
Not sure.
I don't know.
If you can find it and
never-
play it, that's
You'd
one
never be
thing.
able to
But
find it. we had the
Know your
tambourines with the
audience, right?
snakes.
To
They're
say
not there.
tambourines is, like any, it's a high sounding symbol, right?
Yeah.
Tambourine. So, like, it's a different form.
only if you
So,
play it up here.
Yeah.
I will say, I
everybody's
would-
hitting it on their
yeah.
side. They have to be up here.
To TJ's point, and I agree with, like, I could handle a tambourine if it was behind the drum cage, so that it's
So it's shielded.
shielded and it's like.
Could you imagine like Austin or McKendra up there drumming,
up there.
and there's just somebody behind them?
Yeah.
Hey, just
agree.
smiling.
Yeah, my
Like that-
wife can jam on it. See, look at
See,
there.
he's
Look
saying,
at there.
"Look at there. It's got to be done right."
Yeah, but anyways, we have like gone. 11
Yeah, we've
minutes
gone
over.
overtime.
Hey, this is something though. This is not a topic that's over because I think faith is so important to discuss, and it's broad, right? Like
Yeah.
today we can't put a thumb on necessarily. For us, we dissect the sermon we heard. We like to apply it to our
The
lives.
word you heard.
Yes, and then also, kind of how you're living out your faith, how you're treating others who are living out faith. How are you bringing those people up and investing in them?
He just said, "You ain't heard the tambourines in Rich Lance." He's scarred
Mark.
for a life.
Yeah, you know what? That's a whole different. That's actually not
Yeah.
even a tambourine. That's something else.
So- it's
Tambourine
something-
is not. It's
something different.
It's something, yeah.
Yeah.
What he's referring to, I agree with 100%. Yeah, I'm
love
just
it.
gonna do this. I don't have rhythm, but
Yeah, exactly.
oh man.
But yeah, you're exactly right. Like these, me and Brittany had a conversation last week, and we really kind of evaluated kind of the themes that we feel like are very important, and
In our lifestyle.
yeah, it consistently is the centering of what we're talking about. We're always talking about faith. We're always talking about family. We're always talking about health, and we're always talking about wealth. And I think all of those things are biblical, so therefore they're possible. And we'll be talking more about them. But this week, as we're winding things down, faith. Tomorrow we'll talk about family. Bring your concepts of family. What makes a family? What do you define? How do you keep a family healthy? All those kinds of things. We'll be talking about health. Which also we'll be telling you more about the challenge. We do have plans of launching a health challenge. All right. This is important because the truth is, if something doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you.
Yeah.
All right. If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. We've got all kinds of fun stuff going on. What's going on here? He said, "I thought we were having a live show at camp with special guests." And then he says, "Dueling tambourines like devil and devil."
Da, da, da.
Dun, dun, dun. Dude, Mark,
We're doing it.
can you do that on TikTok and let us duet that?
No, we're coming to where you are, Mark. And Brooklyn is going to do a high-end music video.
Hi, bro. And I want you singing on it, Mark. I want you like looking at the camera, Devil went down to Georgia. He was like, bro, we have
Husband and wife duo.
fantastic.
I love it.
Awesome. All right. Well, we're going to hop off of here. Be here tomorrow, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. Until then, have the best day you've ever lived by
Yes.
making today better. All right. We'll catch you later. Talk to you tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
I
Family.
forgot that this is an outro button time. I about just stopped at cold turkey.